And welcome to the Factor Uncensored. What kind of sneakers do you have on, Starling? Walmart? Let me know now. And welcome to the Factor Uncensored. We start with a disgusting attack on a man who was out riding his bike. Two teens in Las Vegas now facing capital murder charges as adults. They recorded the moment they mowed over ex-police chief Andreas Probst down with a car, killing him.
Ready? Yeah.
Now, the suspects have been identified as 17-year-old Jesus Ayala, who was behind the wheel of the car, and 16-year-old Jazamir Keys, who was a passenger in the vehicle and recording the video. Now, according to police, Ayala shrugged off the incident while being taken into police custody, saying, quote, "I'll be out in 30 days, I bet you." Just awful. Joining us to talk about it, Tour de Hood's Dr. Vion McReynolds and bike commuter Chuck Vaughn, along with gang expert and teen expert Reginald OG1 Gordon. Glad to have you all here on the Factor Uncensored. So, as bike riders, Dr. McReynolds and Vaughn, when you guys see that, what are your thoughts about that? Because you guys ride, and Chuck, you do tours around the community. What is it like seeing something like that?
That was horrible, seeing that, just somebody that totally unexpected, just getting killed, for no reason. That was what made it, shocking, is that it was intentional and for no reason. It makes you feel like, at any time somebody might just run up and just run over you just because they feel like it, because just video game.
Right. And Chuck Vaughn, you do tours around the city with a gang of cyclists behind you. Does that make you nervous that people are doing things like that? Because there is that almost hate relationship when certain drivers see cyclists. They just don't have the patience, and they're upset that we're out there on the road.
It's definitely something that I think about, and I tend to have a group of somewhere around 30 people. I have rules that I spread before we leave. Make sure that everyone does things like stay in a single lane, follow me. I tend to test the routes that I go on just to make sure that the level of traffic is something that I can anticipate as best as I can, and know that the condition of the roads are safe enough for a group of people that are riding around.
And when you're out there, do you feel, because I do, the hostility of some drivers against cyclists?
Definitely do. Think back to a couple years ago, 2021, where we had the incident around Waller, where the guy in the truck rolled coal, blasted the exhaust from his truck onto the person in the group riding the bike. You don't hear too often specific instances like these where there's very specifically thought out violence on someone riding a bike. More often we hear the drunk driver or the person distracted by their phone or just not paying attention.
But this was very intentional.
Very intentional.
And Reginald Gordon, that's why we brought you here. When you see teens behaving like this, how did we get to this place in this country where they are laughing and joking and intentionally running over people? And this wasn't the first person. This was the second person.
I heard one of them said that when the probation officer mentioned to him, he said that they're not going to do nothing to him because I'm a juvenile. This is the mindset that we in our community have produced generations after generation that we have ignored and not invested in young people. And I keep saying this here, our young people, in the old African proverb, goes just like this here. Our children will burn the village down if we don't give them the proper attention that they need. So we have to get back to rebuilding the village to get our children back to getting back to bonding with human behavior. 80% of the young men that I deal with, when I get them to ask them to raise their hand up, who have a direct connection with their fathers. That's an angry statement that I ask them when I ask young men who are connected with their fathers. So we have to be serious about how we are producing young people this day and time that don't mind claiming the word, I'm a savage. And the savage behavior that they show, they demonstrated around the community. We just dealt with an 18-year-old killing a 12-year-old without no remorse. We seen 2 young men rob a young lady at gunpoint, get the gun and drive down South Park, Martin Luther King, and kill an officer's mother. So we got to quit playing like we don't know what generations we dealing with. We dealing with a dangerous generation that have no remorse because they know that the community that they come from have rejected them. And until we put love back in them, the cure of trauma, love cures trauma. That's a cure. Until we start pouring love back into our young men gonna kill everybody in our community.
And Dr. McReynolds, you were agreeing with that. And does social media make it even worse because they get attention and they want attention?
Yes. You know, one of the things is social learning. And so I always tell people, monkey see, monkey do. And when you're in an environment where that's all you see, then it becomes normal, it becomes an accepted behavior. So I see other people doing it, and you know, when I see people, as he was saying, I see people going to jail and they get out the next day. So if I kill somebody or do something, then it's socially acceptable. I know that this is the way the society works. And if we continue to allow our children to consume this kind of deadly media, we're gonna, our village is gonna burn down. We have no love for humanity, no love for life. You know, you see the kids that are running over dogs or running over, you know, animal abuse, that same sort of thing, elderly abuse. You know, when they were in New York, they were other parts of the country, just run up and knock you out for no reason. There's
Incredible.
no love in their heart for
We've got a lot
life.
of work to do as a community.
Yeah.
We want to thank you all for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored.